You can always tell when someone is trying to hide love because their words stay silent, but their eyes speak everything they're too afraid to say. The eyes are honest. They betray emotion even when the lips remain guarded. When a woman loves but fears revealing it, her gaze becomes her language. You'll notice it in those small, unintentional moments, the pause before she looks away, the softness in her expression when you speak, the warmth that flickers for a second and then disappears as she tries to mask it with indifference. She may laugh and turn her face, pretending not to care, but her eyes have already said too much. That's because love and fear often live in the same place, the heart. She's scared that if she lets you see it, she'll lose control over it. So she looks, but she hides. She observes, but she denies. It's a silent battle between her emotions and her ego, between vulnerability and self-protection. Psychologically, when a woman suppresses her feelings, they don't disappear. They find subtler ways to escape through body language, tone shifts, or that fleeting gaze that seems to search your face for reassurance. It's her heart trying to connect while her mind builds walls, and the more she tries to conceal it, the more her authenticity leaks through those brief, unguarded moments. You see, genuine emotion is impossible to fake and equally impossible to hide. Her eyes become the mirror of her internal conflict, revealing the love she's afraid to voice. So if you ever catch that look, that unspoken softness that feels almost sacred, don't dismiss it. Because sometimes a single glance holds more truth than 1,000 words. Love doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it simply looks back at you. When a woman has feelings she's not ready to admit, she'll often find subtle ways to stay connected without making it obvious. It's rarely about grand gestures or bold confessions, it's about quiet consistency. She'll accidentally show up where you are, reach out for no reason, or ask for help with something she's perfectly capable of doing herself. It's not manipulation, it's protection. She's testing emotional safety, seeing if your presence feels grounding or threatening, if your energy welcomes her or warns her to stay guarded. Psychologically, proximity is one of the clearest signs of emotional attachment. When someone is drawn to you, they unconsciously seek situations that bring them closer. But when fear is involved, that closeness has to appear unintentional. It's her way of saying, I want to be near you, but I don't want you to know how much I need that. Every message, every small favor, every casual encounter becomes a way to feed the connection while keeping her pride intact. You might notice how she maintains a rhythm, not too much, not too little. That's because she's balancing affection with self-preservation. She doesn't want to seem desperate, she just wants to feel safe enough to be seen. Beneath every random, a text or brief meeting lies a quiet hope that you'll understand her intentions without her having to expose them. Love, when restrained by fear, turns into subtlety. It hides in actions rather than words, in presence rather than declaration. The truth is, when a woman finds excuses to be around you, she's not seeking your attention, she's seeking reassurance that her feelings won't destroy her peace. Sometimes the smallest gestures carry the loudest meaning because what's hidden in silence often speaks the language of love most clearly. Energy never lies. You can feel when someone's energy shifts around you even if they say nothing at all. When a woman loves you but is afraid to reveal it, her entire presence subtly changes. Her tone softens, her pace slows, and even her silence feels different. There's a certain warmth, a quiet attentiveness that lingers in the air. It's not something she plans or controls, it's simply how genuine emotion manifests through the unspoken language of energy. She might try to maintain composure, to act unaffected, but love has a way of altering the atmosphere. You'll notice it when she listens more intently, laughs a little more freely, or seems to glow in your presence. She doesn't realize she's doing it, but emotionally, her body and mind are attuning themselves to you. It's a psychological alignment that happens when attraction deepens into emotional connection, and yet fear keeps her from acknowledging it openly. So instead of confessing, she'll regulate her energy, she'll withdraw at times, then reappear with a sudden lightness. This push and pull isn't confusion, it's self-protection. Her emotions crave expression, but her mind warns her of the consequences. She's not trying to play games, she's trying to find balance between her longing and her limits. Philosophically speaking, love always seeks resonance. It's the meeting point where two energies recognize each other before words ever do. That's why you can sense affection even in silence. So when you feel her energy shift, don't rush to label it. Observe it, because that gentle change in tone, that inexplicable warmth, it's the soul speaking before the person is ready to. Sometimes the proof of love isn't in what's said, but in the quiet transformation that happens when she's near you. When a woman feels something deep but fears being hurt, she builds emotional walls not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much. It's her instinct to protect her heart before offering it. You'll sense it in how she suddenly pulls back after a moment of closeness, how she changes the subject when things get emotional, or how she creates distance right when you think she's letting you in. This isn't rejection, it's self-preservation. Psychologically, fear and attachment often coexist. When someone has been hurt or disappointed before, their mind learns to associate vulnerability with danger. So even when love feels right, part of her resists it. She'll act in ways that seem contradictory, caring deeply one moment and appearing indifferent the next. It's her subconscious testing whether her feelings are safe in your hands. She's not trying to confuse you. She's watching to see if you'll stay patient enough to see through the mask. Philosophically, this is the essence of guarded love, the struggle between desire and defense. She wants connection, but not at the cost of her peace. So she builds walls, not as barriers to love, but as filters to see who's willing to understand her without demanding that she change. The right person doesn't break those walls down. They wait until she feels safe enough to open them herself. When you sense that distance, don't chase it and don't take it personally. Understand that what looks like coldness is often fear disguised as control. Beneath that armor is someone who has loved deeply before and doesn't want to lose herself in the process again, because the truth is the strongest women love silently until they trust that love will hold them gently. When a woman loves you but hides it, her attention becomes her confession. She notices everything not because she's trying to, but because love sharpens awareness. She'll remember the smallest details, the tone of your voice when you're tired, the way your expression changes when something bothers you, or the words you use when you're passionate about something. These details become her way of staying connected without ever saying it out loud. Psychologically, this behavior comes from emotional attunement when someone subconsciously tunes into the rhythms of another person. It's a quiet form of intimacy that doesn't need physical closeness to exist. She observes because observation feels safe. It allows her to care without the risk of rejection. It's her way of loving from a distance, of understanding you without exposing herself. She might remember your favorite song, your habits, or even how you react to silence, and yet she'll pretend it's nothing. She'll downplay how much she notices because acknowledgement would make her vulnerability visible. But make no mistake, when a woman pays attention to the small things, it's never casual. It's emotional investment disguised as curiosity. Philosophically, awareness is the foundation of love. You cannot truly love what you do not see. Her attention, then, becomes a quiet act of devotion, love expressed through perception rather than declaration. And in a world where people often speak more than they listen, her attentiveness is rare, almost sacred. So, when you realize she remembers things you never mentioned twice, don't dismiss it as coincidence. That's love in observation form, restrained, intelligent, and deeply human. Because sometimes the truest form of affection isn't spoken in words or shown through grand gestures, it's reflected in how deeply she's been seeing you all along. Sometimes the deepest love is expressed in silence, not through grand declarations, but through quiet support. When a woman loves you but fears revealing it, she often chooses to stand behind you rather than beside you. She'll encourage your dreams, defend you when you're not around, and celebrate your progress without asking for recognition. This is love stripped of ego, a form of affection that seeks no reward, only your well-being. Psychologically, this behavior stems from emotional loyalty. When a woman connects deeply, her investment goes beyond attraction. It becomes protection. She wants to see you thrive, even if she has to stay in the shadows while you do. Her presence may be subtle, but her impact is profound. She remembers your goals, offers perspective when you're lost, and holds space for you to become better. That's not friendliness, that's commitment disguised as care. She doesn't need to be seen to feel significant. That's how you know it's real, because love that demands attention is often insecure, but love that gives without asking is rooted in emotional maturity. She gives because she feels, not because she wants something in return. Philosophically, this is the purest form of love, to give energy, time, and belief without attaching it to outcome. It's a quiet power, the kind that builds rather than boasts. And often, the people who love us most are the ones we overlook, simply because their love isn't loud. So when you notice someone consistently showing up for you, not in words, but in presence, pay attention. That's not coincidence. That's devotion, quietly waiting to be acknowledged, because real love doesn't need an audience. It just needs to be recognized before silence becomes the only proof it ever existed.